To begin with, the troubles depicted in the film were internal conflicts within the organization, with the terrorist group, the Taliban, deciding to strike America by bombing one of their buildings. The Northern Alliance's leader, Ahmad was then assassinated by Al-Qaeda members, causing the Northern Alliance to become destabilized. This allows the Taliban to strengthen their control in Afghanistan, causing concern among American and Middle Eastern leaders. Second, there are issues with the leaders themselves. General Abdul Rashid Dostum, a local warlord in Afghanistan, accuses Captain Mitch Nelson, the U.S. Army's Task Force Dagger commander, of acting carelessly with the lives of his men in a battle and also of holding valuable information, while Dostum retorts that he still believes Nelson and the U.S. Army are unwilling to pay the potential cost of the conflict. Captain Mitch Nelson's talents were also questioned by General Dostum because he had never been to a war before and lacked the killer eyes that his other men possessed. Also, there was a conflict between the local warlords, which are between the General Atta and General Dostum on the power struggle in Mazar-i-Sharif. Finally, there are issues with geography that could pose a difficulty for Captain Mitch Nelson and his team. Due to the geographical location of the battlefield, the U.S. Army is unable to move military transportation. Therefore, they are forced to fight the Taliban on horseback. They could only rely on their air supremacy, but they also had the difficulty of having to carry the antenna with them at all times in order to communicate with the pilots. Thank you.
To begin with, when the United States saw a threat to their national security, we saw the US Army rapidly evaluate the situation. They did so by gathering all relevant facts and intel and truly planning their response. They were also able to select 12 of their most capable soldiers to respond to the attack. They quickly put all of their preparations into motion by launching Operation Dagger without waiting long. As a result, the first solution presented in the film is the formation of Task Force Dagger. Second, after being sent to Afghanistan, Captain Mitch Nelson, the chief of Task Force Dagger, was met with opposition and rebellion by local warlord General Dostum. He will refuse to work with the Task Force Dagger and may even undermine their abilities. Captain Mitch proved himself by courageously making his initial move against the Taliban, and the situation was overcome. He successfully breached the Taliban's initial territory by tactically commanding bomb drops and gunfights. As a result, the next solution that can be identified is Captain Mitch Nelson's first courageous move against the Taliban. Finally, as we can see, Task Force Dagger's largest miscalculation in the war was Afghanistan's geographic situation, which was uneven and surrounded by deserts and mountains. The fighters had to set up their base in a non-strategic location with few communication lines, but that didn't seem to stop America's top 12 soldiers from accomplishing their mission. They increased their air superiority as a result of this. They dropped bombs at precisely the right time and at the correct coordinate. The Taliban's ability to fight on the ground has been weakened as a result of the airstrike, which destroyed the majority of their troops and weapons. As a conclusion, the final solution presented in the film 12 Strong is to increase American air superiority.
I will present the leadership strategies that have been used to carry out the mission using the SWOT analysis. Let's start with strength. The first strength is courage. That was displayed by Captain Mitch Nelson when he fearlessly nearing the Taliban's base of operation in order to collect the specific coordinate so that the Air Force can drop bomb at the correct area. The other strength is cooperation. During the war, the soldiers showed us an outstanding cooperation by shielding Captain Mitch Nelson from enemy fire. As a result, he was able to send the correct coordinate to the pilot. The last strength is quick thinking. We can saw this when Captain Mitch Nelson revealed his quick action when he quickly caught the fire grenade and he threw it back to the enemy when an enemy threw it at his platoon. This action resulted in a large explosion near the enemy position. Let's move on to the weakness. The first weakness that has been identified is that the soldier did not have full protection in the war. It can be proved when they go in the war, but they do not have helmets to equip. That can increase the chance of they being harmed. The second weakness is shortage of information of enemy's military equipment. The captain and the soldier were unaware that their enemy had supply lines in place to assist their squad to achieve victory in the war, and it really disturbed the army strategies to work smoothly.
I'll be presenting about the opportunities and threats. The first opportunity that could be seen was that the ODA 595 was to be dropped off in the northern Afghanistan where they met General Dostum. This occurred during the night, which made the enemy hard to detect their presence. And now, the second opportunity. The warlords had the same objective. This is an opportunity as it facilitated communications between rival warlords to bolster the Northern Alliance forces. And now, for the third opportunity. The position could be said as one of the biggest opportunities yet, as they had the high ground in the Mazar-i-Sharif hill, which allowed them to attack from the top of the hill to the bottom of the hill. Moving on to the threats. The lack of time, the weather factor, and in addition to that, the unknown terrain was a very big threat indeed. Not only were Captain Nelson and his team given 6 weeks, but it was cut down short to only 3 weeks as there was harsh winter conditions coming up soon, and all of this had to be done in unknown land. The next threat was that the enemy were bigger in numbers and they used very irregular tactics. There were far more members in the Taliban compared to the ODA 595 and General Dostum's team combined together. The Taliban also used irregular tactics, which made it hard for them to come up with tactics and counter-attacks against the Taliban. The perfect example could be seen when the Taliban ambushed them after they had been bombed by drones.